Everyone, clear the streets and go home. Let the king's soldiers deal with this.
By Moloch, what now?
Back away, citizen. We have enough to deal with as it is. My soldiers can't do their job with all you civilians getting underfoot. Just because you carry a weapon doesn't mean you know how to use it. And as you can see, I already have more amateur warriors volunteering to help than I can handle. Why don't you just stand back and leave this to the professionals? By the king's arse, you're annoying. I should toss you in a cell, but I'm a little busy at the moment. Alright, listen. A group approached the temple. I didn't think anything of it until they drew their weapons and rushed inside. Look, I just got back from a tour in Daggerfall, and I'm still trying to figure this city out. It's a damn maze! I heard there might be a way back in, but the soldiers I sent to look for it haven't reported in yet.
Hey, hero! Over here! The king sent you here to rescue the hostages, didn't he? Of course he did. That's why they recruited heroes after all, am I right? Listen, I have a plan. It's brilliant. Wanna hear it? See those hawkers behind me? Don't look. Anyway, they've been acting suspiciously. Standing around, making shifty eyes, showing odd hand gestures to passers-by. I've read enough investigative Vale books to recognize criminal behavior when I see it. You never read Investigator Vale? The book's about the brilliant scholar who travels the world and solves crimes? She doesn't use magic or weapons. Just her charm and her wits and... Look, I'll lend you a copy later, but we need to focus here. Isn't it obvious? Look at their evil demeanor, their villainous whispering. I bet if we rattle them, they'll run off and lead us right to the hostages. Watch. I'll just let loose an arrow. That should put the fear of Ifray into the survivor. Of course I can. I do it all the time. And I'll have you know that I'm right about 50% of the time. Fine, fine. We'll do things your way. But I'm going to keep an eye on those two.
Defend the temple!
Thank Trinamak you're here. Someone has to save my fellow priests inside the temple. Please, I need your help. The priests inside the temple are at the mercy of these fanatics. Please, I think they want to kill my brothers and sisters in Trinamak. Malakath fanatics. They burst into the temple and began rounding up my fellow priests. They spat at us and shouted that we were betraying our race. They said that Chief Bazrag sent them to punish us for opposing the true god of the orcs. They made such a commotion when they barged in. I spotted them from the upper balcony and slipped out the back door. I was about to go find help when more of those ruffians surrounded me. I thought I was finished. And then you showed up. They invoke the chief's name, saying he seeks revenge against the king and any who follow the false god. I've known Chief Basrag to be a hard man, but never a cruel man, never a murderer. What has the king done to anger him so? I see. I respect the king and all that he stands for, but his temper, it has gotten us into trouble more times than I care to remember. If it's vengeance Basrag seeks, then the king will be responsible for the deaths of the temple priests. My fellow priests were still alive when I slipped out of the temple, but the tension in the air, I'm afraid violence is inevitable. They set up patrols inside the temple, watching for Kurag and his soldiers. If one of them spots you in there... They're holding the priests captive in the rectory. If one of the torchbearers spots you and reaches the rectory, you won't be able to save them. Avoid the torchbearers at all costs, or at least strike them down before they can sound a warning. Take this key. It will unlock the temple's rear entrance. Once inside, you'll need to find the key to the rectory, where they're holding my fellow priests. The fanatic who gives the orders, their commander, he probably has the key to the rectory. May the luck of Trinimac be with you. I'll inform the guards and try to send more help your way.
How did you get in here? No matter. You'll be dead. Split off from this insanity. Just leave us alone. Thank you for helping us. I thought they were going to kill us. I don't know how to thank you. These fanatics, they beat us, threatened us. They told us they were going to kill us as soon as the king or his soldiers showed up. But you got in without alerting them. You saved us. The others, though... High Priestess Solgra and our brothers and sisters in Trinimac. The fanatics gathered us up and forced us in here. But Solgra, she isn't one to put up with such nonsense. She put a blade into one of them and ran into the back to help the others. I have the key. I'll open the door for you. Find the others, please. I don't know what Solgra planned to do, but she had that look in her eyes when the fanatics started hurting our people. Solgra and the others should be somewhere through this door. I'll find a way to open the main temple doors and let the soldiers in. Good luck.
Don't worry about me. I'll be fine once I catch my breath. Just got the wind knocked out of me a little, that's all. Not exactly. They claimed to be devoted followers of Malakath, and said they were working for Chief Bazrag. They caught us by surprise, threatened us. Did you run into Ugus? How are he and the others faring? Well, that puts my mind at ease. I hated leaving them, but the others back here needed help too. But I'm still not completely certain what the attackers hoped to accomplish. Why take us hostage? Why not simply kill us and be done with it? Spill the blood of innocents and blame the king for their deaths, for not being able to protect his people. What a fiendish scheme. But the king sent you in his stead. Very astute on his part. That decision may have saved many lives. We were supposed to assume they were Malakath devotees, but they didn't seem particularly religious to me. Even I don't believe Malakath would sanction a slaughter such as this. They mentioned Chief Bazrag, though. Said he gave them their orders. I've always found the chief to be noble, but it doesn't take a lot to change a person. His forts ravaged, his traditions threatened. I can see how such things could lead to this. The king and the Forge Mother must be told what happened here.
This is the last of them! Let's finish these bastards off!
I'm glad to see you and the priest alive. I believe things may have played out very differently if you hadn't agreed to my plan. But what of the High Priestess? Is Solgra all right? That is good news indeed. I will make sure that a military contingent protects this temple going forward. It will not be left undefended again. Increased patrols around the perimeter, soldiers assigned to guard the inside of the temple. The priests will not have to live in fear of another attack, not so long as my son is king. I assume you know who claimed responsibility for this? Bazrag has never agreed with Kurog. He made threats in the throne room, as I'm sure you heard. Besides, his boldness and devotion to Malakath are legendary. It appears Bazrag wishes to challenge our king. My son needs to solidify his hold on the clans. All of the chiefs must accept Kurog as their king for the betterment of the Orsimer people. If we gain support of the clans, we can stop Bazrag without inciting an all-out war. You have done much already. Many lives were in danger, yet somehow you managed to make sure none were lost. Please, take this, for being so careful with my people and keeping their safety in mind. We will find you again when the king needs you. Solgra, my child, come join us. Are you injured? Should I call
Thanks
a
to our
healer?
friend, I am well and ready to serve.
Yes, our call for assistance has already proven to be a more than worthwhile endeavor.
This wretched mountain will be the death of me. I'm freezing out here. You again. You make a habit of showing up when my lady needs you. Suppose that means we're gonna make another attempt to reach that wretched summit after all. Go present yourself to my lady. She should be coming down the trail at any moment. This is Sorrow. Apt name, don't you think? The House of Orsimer Glories in Orsinium engaged my lady's services to find the shrine of Tora Groigron. It supposedly waits at the snowy top. No one's attempted to climb it in years, yet here we are. Only if you consider vile beasts, freezing winds, and falling ice to be a problem. We tried to climb the mountain 3 times now, and each failure was more spectacular than the last. If you're interested, Lady Laurent could really use the help. This expedition has really proved to be more troublesome than Lady Laurent anticipated. I hate to say it, but I think this time Sorrow might be more than she bargained for.
Damn you, Karsten. How am I supposed to make a great discovery when... Oh, hello! I was just thinking about you. You do have a habit of showing up whenever I need help. Perchance you've brought a small army with you as well? Just you? Well, I was hoping for porters and guides and all, but I suppose that I can make do. I'll need to make a few slight adjustments to my plan, but this time we'll reach the Summit of Sorrow, I'm sure of it. The last 3 times, you mean? We set up one camp, but the harpies and the icy wind cut us down each time we climbed higher. A few orcs even wandered into a chasm because they couldn't see more than 2 paces ahead in the fog. Oh, it all upset me so. To start, head up and present yourself to Karsten while I go check on my lazy manservant Stibbins. We'll meet you up there. And remind Karsten who it is that's actually in charge of this expedition. He can be so uncooperative at times. Why are you still here? Do you need directions or something? We're not just talking about any dead orc. This is Taurig's shrine. Not only was he the founder of the original city of Orsinium, but he was the owner of the armlet of Taurig. Do you know how high my reputation will soar once I recover that relic? According to a scroll fragment I studied, the armlet of Taurig is a magical bracelet encrusted with gems. With its power, Taurig was able to tame the savage wilderness. It allowed the ancient orcs to establish the first city of Orsinium. The museum in Orsinium has it on display. It only contains a few words in the ancient orc tongue, but I was able to make some sense out of it. It talked about the armlet, the shrine, and something called Sorrow's Kiss. Oh, doesn't that sound romantic?
Who in the name of Malakath's third tusk are you? Don't you know this is sacred ground? Besides, it's also one of the most dangerous places in all of Hrothgar. You shouldn't be wandering around up here. Oh, she did she? I hope you know what you're getting into. Harpies and ogres are bad enough, but the true challenge of Sorrow is the mountain itself. The wind cuts like a sword, and the freezing mist blinds you. But that's not the worst. Avalanches! Sorrow wields her snow and ice with terrible precision. I've seen strong orcs swept right off the side like scoring a slaughter in 7-pick knockdown. We tried 3 times and lost most of our expedition. We're all that's left. To be honest, I'm not sure. We barely made it this far before we got separated from the others. If you could look for our companions, that would be helpful. Regardless, we have to find Torug's shrine or all these sacrifices will be for nothing. The good orcs, each and every one of them. Expert climbers. But Sorrow isn't an ordinary mountain. Best way to find them? They should have placed markers to indicate avalanche areas. Just follow the markers. Sorrow may not be the tallest mountain in Tamriel, but it's certainly one of the deadliest. That's why the ancient orcs built memorials to their champions on its slopes. The higher the location of the tomb, the greater the sacrifice and prestige.
Stibbins, don't you dare put down that firewood. It won't do us any good if it gets wet.
You make a sound point, my lady.